Let's talk about the fixed asset list that comes with QuickBooks. First, if you are using one of the basic versions, keep in mind that this feature may not be installed. You do have the ability to use an add-on component, or remember, you can upgrade to one of the additional versions of QuickBooks. I am going to go to Accountant and then down to my fixed asset item list. Here you'll notice that I have a list of all of my items, what my cost is, and what my accumulated depreciation is. You'll notice that there are two cost columns. One simply says cost and one says cost/basis. In some instances when we buy an item, we have to put in a great deal of money to get that item up to par. Let's say for instance I buy a piece of machinery and it requires a $5,000 overhaul to get it functional. That $5,000 would be added to the purchase price to come up with my new basis. Now when we're looking at this list, we can actually revise any of these columns and adjust them. For instance, I'll move the column out for the purchase date to open it up. If I do not want to see the cost basis, I can also turn that off. I am going to do a right click on the cost basis, go down to Customize Columns, choose the cost basis, and simply say Remove. When I say OK, that column is gone. Of course, that means we can do a right click, go back to Customize Columns, and we can add any column that we want to. We can also get a quick report on the items that we see listed here. On the bottom of the screen I can go to Reports. Let's go to the fixed asset listing and you'll see it just gives me a nice printable report. Once again I'll close off, and I'll also note that under the reports I could see detailed listings of each individual item. How do we put our items into the list? Let's go down to the bottom, let's select Item, and let's go to New. When we go to New, the first thing we'll do is just put in the name of our asset. In this case, for the example, I'll just type Asset. Next, we'll go over to our account. When I go to the pull down, each of the fixed asset accounts that have been established are listed. Now here's where our own individual procedures come into play. How we set up our assets is determined individually. I recommend you chat with your accountant and see what accounts you need. Some of us will lump all of our vehicles together. For many of us, we'll choose to track them individually. It all depends on your unique situation. So make sure you spend some time to come up with your design for your asset listing is. In this case, I'm going to choose Vehicles as the asset account. Next, I can put in the purchase description. Here I'll just type in the name of the item, and you'll notice it even establishes it as a new or used item. I can select the date in which I purchased the item and my cost. I'm going to say I spent $1,750 on that item. Now I can track my vendor, and on the bottom I can put in as much information to describe that asset as necessary. Here's where it's a good thing to take the time to actually fill out these fields. You'll notice that there is a location for a serial number, for a warranty number, the location of where it's kept. You may even want to put in a purchase order number or a vendor's invoice number. If you need to work with a vendor for a replacement of a part, for some warranty work, or simply for a recall, it is invaluable to have that information on this screen. I recommend that you consider taking notes on any of the information that will be useful when you go in for repairs or just regular maintenance. It's always nice to have one-click shopping for everything we're doing in QuickBooks. Once you complete the screens, and we say OK, you will notice that our asset now is listed in the account. As with all of the item listings in QuickBooks, the diamond allows me to change the order so I can group these together however I want to. Now notice this warning. You cannot move a list unless it's in the original order. You will see this from time to time. Do not let it worry you. Simply say OK, and on the bottom of the screen what we're going to do is resort that list. So I went to Item, I'm choosing Resort, and you'll notice it'll now return it to its original order. Once it's in its original order, now I can go and I can change everything any way I want to. In this case, all it's telling me, let's keep that asset with the vehicle so that they're grouped together nicely. The asset listing in QuickBooks is invaluable for insurance purposes, for valuation of goods on hand, and for planning purposes within your business. Make it a point to keep this up to date, and you'll have valuable information just a click away.